Okay, this is the parts that you need. You're gonna need this 12 volt remote control. It comes with two remote control and then this remote control box. This comes together in one unit. Then you're gonna need add a fuse. Make sure that this size is the same size as your fuse for your car because they all have different fuses. For my 2022 Camaro, the size of the fuse is micro 2. So this is a micro 2. And then for the ground, I'm going to need this. And then for power, the white wire, I'm going to need this. Basically, on this one, I'm going to cut it in half with my side cutter right here. You're going to see it how I do it. For my tools, I'm going to need this side cutter to trim off this one here, the spade. And then I'm going to use this 10 millimeter wrench to loosen up the bolt in the car, so I could use it for ground. You'll see it when I actually do it. And then you're gonna need a crimper and a wire stripper and a voltmeter. That's the tools you need. And if you have electrical tape, that would be good too. For once we do our crimping, you can also use the tape to support it, support the wires. This yellow one, because it has a bigger hole right here, the connector. The inside, the diameter is really big. So what I did was I connected the two wires, the two black ones, and I found a piece of wire. I found an aluminum one, and I wrapped it around it, and then I can put it in and crimp it. Because without this wire here, watch, let me show you. Without that, if I stick this in, even though I crimp it, it's not gonna hold. So I need this one to make it uh, slipping off of this big hole. Okay, so let's double check the work. There it is. This is the box right here. All right, let's double check the work. So this is the box right here. And then the blue one, we don't do anything. That's the antenna. I started off with the black one first. This is the black one. Remember, the black ones, the two black ones are too skinny. So I had to put a filler in here. And then I crimped it. So now, one by one, I pull on it. And they're snug. Okay, that's the black one. And then the white one. And that's what I did. So remember, it was full spade. I cut it in half. That's exactly what I did. Let's see if I can show it on the camera. So I cut that in half. It used to be like that. And then I used the cutter to cut it in half. Okay? And then I pull on it, make sure it doesn't come off. Then the last one I did is the red one. So it's crimped here and it's snug. So now, if you look at this, the add fuse, the positive side of the battery, it has to be connected to here. So the 12 volt has to connect to this side. You see this wire? not on this side. It has to be on the opposite side of the wire. So when I looked at the fuse, or when we can look at the fuse, we're going to use the voltmeter to determine which side of the fuse is the positive side, because we want this to touch the positive side of the fuse. As you can see here, um, the two black wires, they're going to be for grounding, which I'm going to use this terminal connector. And then the white one is for power, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to trim it. So this is all the wires that we have here. The blue one is an antenna, so you don't mess with the blue one. So we're going to mess with the two black ones, and we're going to crimp that together, the two black ones. And then the white one is going to be power. We're going to use a spade connector for that. And then the red one, we're going to connect it to this guy right here. We're going to connect it here. This yellow one, because it has a bigger hole right here, the connector, the inside, the diameter is really big. So what I did was I connected the two wires, the two black ones, and I found a piece of wire. I found an aluminum one, and I wrapped it around it, and then I can put it in and crimp it, because without this wire here, watch me show you. Without that, if I stick this in, even though I crimp it, it's not gonna hold. So I need this one to make it uh, slipping off of this big hole. All right, let's double check the work. So this is the box right here, and then the blue one, we don't do anything. That's the antenna. I started off with the black one first. This is the black one. Remember, the black ones, the two black ones are too skinny, so I had to put a filler in here, and then I crimped it. So now, one by one, I pull on it, and they're snug. Okay, that's the black one. And then the white one, and that's what I did. So remember, it was full spade. I cut it in half. That's exactly what I did. Let's see if I could show it on the camera. So I cut that in half. It used to be like that. And then I used the cutter to cut it in half. Okay? And then I pull on it, make sure it doesn't come off. Then the last one I did is the red one. So it's crimped here and it's snug. So now, if you look at this, the ATA fuse, the positive side of the battery, it has to be connected to here. So the 12 volt has to connect to this side. You see this wire? Not on this side. It has to be on the opposite side of the wire. So when I looked at the fuse, or when we can look at the fuse, we're going to use the voltmeter to determine which side of the fuse is the positive side, because we want this to touch the positive side of the fuse. Okay, here, if you're looking at it right now, so the fuse, the positive is going to connect to this side, and then this one, I'm going to connect to here. The fuse is going to be on top. All right, so I will pull out the fuse from the fuse box, and I will put it here. Okay, now I'm gonna turn on the auxiliary by pushing this start button. I'm just holding it. Okay, now the auxiliary is on. You can see all the lights are on. Now that the auxiliary is on, now this fuse box is going to be energized. So I'll open this up. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Okay, so once we have the auxiliary on, the fuse box now is going to be energized. So remember guys, this is the fuse, the F51, which was done in the previous video. So I'm gonna pull this out. This is F51 fuse. This is the fuse for the exhaust valve to the rear. Hold on, I need both hands. All right, so this lead right here, the black one's gonna go to the ground. I don't know if you can see it. Right there, it's gonna be touching there. And then remember, this is the F51 fuse. That's the exhaust valve to the rear power. So I'm gonna touch the one on the right side, and if you look at the meter, it shows 11.65 volts. And if I touch the other side, nothing. This one, 11.7. So on the right side is the battery source. Remember earlier I told you guys that on the right side, that's the one that's going to make connection to the battery side of the fuse. So it's opposite of this cable here, opposite of this wire. This is the one that's supposed to touch or make connections with the battery source. Now, as I try to plug this in, you notice there's no room. I can't flip it the other way because I have to be connected to the power source on the right side. So I have an issue right now. I have a problem. Now, by looking at this fuse box, I'm gonna need to find a 15 amp fuse that I can use to make this work, but I need the orientation to be in a way that this is not in the way. All right, let me do some double checking right now. By looking at the fuse box, what do you call this, label, I found this fuse right here, for the heated seat. So I'm gonna use that. Now I want to see which side is a positive side. Okay, the left side is positive. So this is for the heated seat. So this is the positive side. That means my fuse is going to be like, my outer fuse is going to be like this, because this side has to be touching the positive side. All right, so I'm gonna have to take out this white wire, because since we're using a different fuse slot, I'm not gonna connect it here no more. I'm gonna take this out, because this is the one that supplies power. So I'm gonna take this out. So I got another one of the added fuse. So remember, if you look at this side is the positive side of the fuse, and then on this side is where it's supposed to power the exhaust valve. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this off right here. So there you go, I cut it. So I cut this off. Okay, so looking at this one right here, remember the heated seat? Right there, that's the heated seat. Since I'm gonna use that, I'm gonna plug this on the bottom. This is for the heated seats. Wow, it's tight. Okay, so this is for the heated seat. So now we have an extra fuse right here. Remember I pulled out the F51 fuse for the exhaust valve. So this fuse I'm going to take. So the added fuse, I'm going to use this right here. So the one on top now, so now I have two fuses. So this one on top, the way the power is going to flow is from this side to both fuses, and then the top fuse, it powers this lead right here, the remote control. This one goes from the battery to this fuse, back down, and powers the heater, seat heater. Okay. All right, so right there I connected the ground already, right there. I have to like open up the hole. I cut a slit and I opened it up a little bit so it'll fit in that hole. And there's the remote control box. The blue wire is the antenna. Okay, that's the remote. So here's the connections. I put electrical tape here because on top of the fuses, that's hot, or it's open, and I don't want any connection. I don't want this touching any of that terminal, so I put an electrical tape, but just for safety precaution. But you don't really need it, but I just did it. I'll do a better job after this. Once I'm done with this, I'll clean this up and put a better tape. So you got the two fuses right there, right? The two fuses, and then that means this side right here is the positive side of the battery. So the battery side is here, and then we put both fuses here, and then from here it turns, it goes to the remote control box. Now the one I'm holding here is the power to the valve to the rear, and notice how I connected it. It's on the bottom side. Okay, that's the bottom side. And then there's the F51 fuse slot right here. That's about electrical tape right there, and I will put this in here. All right, so let's put it in. Let's do a test. All right, I cleaned it up a little bit. Let's do a power flow real quick. So I mean a double check. So we got the negative right there, and then there's the white wire. It's already on the F51 position, and remember this white wire is on the bottom left of the slot. And we remember here on the right side of F51 fuse is the positive side, so I got it on the opposite side. So on this side, positive side, the battery. On the left side, and then bottom slot is where I connected the white wire. Now this is the fuse right here for the heated seats. I pulled it off and then I plugged it on the bottom. So the bottom fuse is for the heated seats. The top fuse is to feed this remote control, and then the remote control feeds it back to the white to power the exhaust valve. All right, so the power goes from, remember the battery on this side, the 12-volt battery side is on this side, not on this side. It's on this side. It goes through the fuse, the top fuse, to the red wire, to the remote control box, to the white wire, to this one on the bottom left to feed the bottom left slot to feed the exhaust valve. So now I'm gonna try to put the cover, and I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna put this. Alright guys, I wasn't really too happy with the wire sticking out this way because I couldn't really close the cover. So I started looking for an alternative, and I found one. Is called F38. F38 is not being used. So what I'm gonna do is gonna check this one, the F38, to see which side is the positive side. So okay, that's the positive side. On the left side, nothing. All right, so here we go. So in here, that's the F38. It's vacant, it's not being used. The left side, the left terminal, is the positive side. So that means if we look at our fuse, the left side is going to be touching it. It's going to be like this. And you notice, so for the circuit, for this circuit, the fuse has to be on top. Okay, so the power goes from here, it goes up to the fuse to the red wire to the remote control to the white wire to back to the F51 position. Yeah, sorry about that guys. I wasn't too happy with it. So here we go, I'm plugging it in. I'm gonna put a tape here real quick. Okay. I'm gonna bend this a little bit. Wait, hold on. How am I gonna bend this? Yeah, I'm gonna bend it that way. All right, we got it in. All right, that should work. All right, I use a vacant one. All right, I'm gonna figure out how to put this all together so I can close it. Okay, I got it in. So I had to work these wires to make it fit. So it's working now. So we'll do a test right now. Yeah, I gotta put the remote control up. So that's it. After the install, I did more tests. So I was inside the car, I left it on tour mode, and I pressed the buttons on the remote control. When I press off, it would keep the valve open, regardless of what mode I'm on. I shut off the engine, turn it back on, the valve remain open. So on the remote control, you want the valve to be open all the time, regardless of what mode you're on. You press off. If you want to restore it back to normal, to factory settings, on the remote control, press on. So basically, pressing on the remote control will restore it back to normal. And when you press off, that means you bypass the fuse and you'll have an open valve all the time. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if this was beneficial, please give me a like, leave me some comments, and please subscribe. And I do apologize for me doing this live, because when I was doing it, I was actually videoing it as I'm doing it. So this is my first time doing it. It's not like something I'd done before. So you actually saw uh, basically being done for the first time. So I had to modify, I had to make some changes midstream. All right then, thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.